Hi. I was thinking, um, it's been a while since I still got to figure out exactly how many days I stayed in San Pedro. But because I don't know, I'm getting confused. But I know that before I went, my husband Randall A Briellards, who told me he was Ralph Tresvant, he um he had me when I was in the hotel on Century Boulevard in Inglewood. Me and him were there, and we were there. He came to visit me there. I was there with my mom and my sister when she came to visit from New York. Excuse me. She came to visit from New York, and or from wherever she was living at the time. I forgot. But uh, my sister, Carissa Michelle McNair, who had a column in the Daily Breeze, in the L.A. Times, and in the L.A. Times magazine. She was secretary or something, had a column or something. And my dad used to say, "Aren't you going to read your sister's column?" I used to say, "I can't read it because I'm allergic to the print of the newspaper." And then by the time she had moved out and wasn't coming back to visit hardly at all. Didn't come to visit back for years. And I just, I never got around to reading it. I never liked to read too much. Only when I went back to school, I went back to school to get my grades up, and then I came up with 8 straight A's and A pluses, 2 A plus and straight A's. I don't know I told the teacher, I said, "Are you sure I deserve this?" And she said, "You're a smart girl." She says, "You know what you're doing." She said, "You know what you're doing." And she'd say, uh, "It just takes you a little bit longer." She said, "But once you get it, you got it." And she told me that. And I said, "Okay." Because I said the books that they have here are not they're not like the books back in the school where I had come from, a regular school. The books we had there were so like easy books, like easy. But she told me, she said I was worth a straight A student. And it was like my dad and my mom put me up to it, but I don't know. I feel like I don't know too much now that I'm out of school, but I have been out of school for years. But anyway, if you waste the mind is a terrible thing to waste. But I do study the Bible and I read the Bible. My eyes are bad. I have cataracts, but I have to get that done after I get uh, myself together where I don't do too many extraneous exercise. Then I can get my operation, and then I'll have to not do any work for 2 weeks because if I do, they say I'll go blind. So they don't want to do it now, not while I'm doing strenuous exercise. And I do strenuous exercise trying to get up out of the bed and trying to take a shower and trying to get ready and all of that. I do strenuous exercise, so I can feel myself, my eyes, their pressure is on my eyes when I do that. So, anyway, I wanted to talk about what I remember. I think I asked Jehovah to put it in dreams because I was testing the expression. It said, in the Bible, it said, "All those who indulge in dreams are not my people." And I said, how could I not be one of God's people? I love Jehovah. I know I love Jehovah. And I know I love, hi. And I know I love, and I know I love, okay. And I know I love, I know I love everyone. So, so, ow, it burns. Okay. Thank you. And so, I was just getting a shot of my insulin. So anyway, so then I had to we were in the hotel, and he was walking toward the outside, getting ready to go outside the door, but he went toward the window on the second floor, and he jumped out the window, and wings came out of him, and he flew down and landed on the floor, on the ground. He said, "Come on, Desiree, you can do it too." I said, "I didn't know you had those powers." He had showed me his throat, that it had a fire in his throat. He had a light in his throat when he opened up his mouth. And when I opened up my mouth and I used to look in the mirror, I could see a flame of fire in my mouth. And he was also the one where when I was with him, getting ready to go to his mother's house, he took me and he said that I was going to turn into a flame of fire or something like that. And I did. But before that happened, I I jumped out the window after he told me to jump out the window, that he's not going to let anything hurt me, or it's not going to happen. I won't get hurt. He promised. He said, "Come on out, come on, jump out." And so I jumped off the second floor out the window, and I stood on my feet. I landed on my feet, and then I started walking. And when I started walking, I was walking, and then I saw this Hispanic man. I don't know how it happened, but he laid down with me right there in front of Randall's face, and Randall wasn't mad. But he just said, he said, "She's mine." And he was saying good when he saw me walking. He said, "Don't stop, don't stop." And then I stopped, and I got tired, and I sat down. When I sat down, this other man came over, and he had intercourse with me right there in front of his face. And I haven't seen that man since, but my husband said, "She's mine," or something like that, he said. And um, I don't. It must have been from the woman that cast spells on me. She must have made it where it happened like that. I don't know, but anyway, that's what happened. And I see the way Rihanna dances. I've seen the way she dances. I say, okay, yeah. I did. I blessed her with virginities, and she decided to do all of that with the dancing, because I don't know her. I don't show her how to dance or nothing like that. She came up with that, or whoever came up with that, her choreography or whatever came up with that. But she has this woman that's supposedly her mother, and I wasn't there. I wasn't there, and I don't know if she's mad, but she came to me. I know she came to when I was in San Pedro. She came and she said, how did you know it was me?" Because he said, "Who's that woman over there?" I was getting under to go under and get my colon looked at, and he said, because I did that, because there was the man that did that to me. He put a hole in my private, when we were in a Darley Community Health Center. I was in a pool, in a tub, and he was inside of me in the tub. We were both in the tub. We were having intercourse, and then here comes a man from outside of the room. He came in, and he worked there, and he snuck in the back of the tub and came in my behind and was pushing, and they both pushed a hole in me. The tub was full of hot water, and they pushed a hole in me, and I didn't know it was a hole until it hurt, and I said, "Ow," I said, "Get out of me." And then he finally got out, and then I got out the tub, and I recognized that I had a hole in me. Then I found out, and and then we kept having intercourse, because my mother wouldn't take me to the hospital. Nobody would, they wouldn't do anything. I'd tell them about what was going on. They'd say, "Leave me alone." They'd say, you don't know what you're talking about. Because they were saying there was something wrong with my mind anyway. And so my husband, when he went inside of me, he could feel that there was a hole. And also, there was a man named Bernard Campbell that had molested me. He molested me, and the way he molested me is he had a hot iron rod, pushed me into the front of my cartilage, and he cracked my cartilage in the front of my vagina. And then this, then when I had intercourse with my husband, Briellards, Randall A Briellards, he he said that uh, he didn't say anything. He just said he would just rub real hard on me. And then one time he said, "Look at what you did. Look what you did. Look." And he showed me himself, and he had a dent in his private area, going from up from the top to the bottom, a dip. And then he told me he wanted to. He said he's not, I'm not doing what he's not doing what he wants to do to me. So when I was in the hospital for my kidneys, he turned around and put his butt in my face and finished rubbing on the other side. I said, "Oh my goodness!" I said, "What in the world?" I said, "Does it feel good to you? Do you like it or what?" And he said, "Yeah," or something like that. And so, and he goes, "Oh, all that kind of stuff." And then when we had Rihanna, I had staple guns put into my stomach on a stretcher when I got pregnant. And the artist formerly known as Princess said it was his baby. He said that's how I got pregnant was. It was strange the way I got pregnant. In Downey Community Health Center, my husband, Randall Briellards, was there. He wasn't my husband yet, but they put me in another room, and they put me in another room for the night. And I was in the night, and the room was dark because there were no lights in the back of the yard, in the back of the parking lot, and it was very dark. And it was near where the train would come through, and it was very dark over there. And so you couldn't get any light in the room. And with the dark at night, they turned the lights out. So they turned the lights out, and somebody ended up inside of me. And I said, "Who is?" I said, "Get off of me!" I didn't know who it was. And he said, "Don't you stop me when I love it." And then he got back up on me, and he was still finishing what he was doing. And then by the time it was morning, and the light was coming through the window, he was gone. And then I came out the room, and then my husband said, Randall Briellards, the one that was about to be my husband, he said, "You're going to have my baby." And then he said, the artist formerly known as Prince he goes, "You're going to have my baby, and it's hot in there." And he looked at me straight down in my private area. He was staring at me. I said, "Oh, brother." So I figured, I said, then when I was on the stretcher in Inglewood on Manchester and Market, it was a sprinkling day. It was sprinkling, and it wasn't that many people on the street that day. And and he was hiding toward a wig shop, and I said, "You did this? You did this?" Because I was in labor pain. And he was laughing. He said, you're having my baby." He was laughing. And I said, "You make me sick. You did this. You did this." And then finally, the doctor said, "There's nothing I can do," because she wasn't coming out. And I didn't know how to push her out, and there wasn't enough room. And so I said, "Don't." I said, "Cut me." And he said, "Cut you?" I said, cut me open." And he goes, I said, "Don't let me sit here and let me die. Let us die. Don't sit here and let us die." And so then he cut me from this way to this way. Cut me this way to this way. That's why I'm so wide from here to here, because I've been stretched. And they also, when I was here, they gave me shots so that to make sure I don't get blood clots in my wound or in my stomach when I was from laying down and being in the wheelchair so much. That's what they said. But I did. I ended up I'm very wide now. I look terrible to me. I look terrible. This woman named Passion, I probably don't even have this on because I had my finger over the whole phone. Probably not even coming where you could hear it, what I was saying. But let me see. And so, anyway, so, um, then, to say to, I don't know where he's went. He went off with another woman. They told me in the heart when I went to get a mind evaluation not to say the people's names. But I didn't, so I'm not going to say her name, who he went off with. Even though I've said it so many times in the public, I've said what she's done. She's done it. And she seems to just love the attention when she gets in front of cameras and stuff. I'm not talking about Beyonce. I'm talking about somebody else. But anyway, I'm not talking about Rihanna either. But anyway, so uh, she went off with my husband, and my husband came back to me, and then next thing you know, I'm inside Linwood Hospital, not Lawndale, Linwood Hospital, and President Bush was there, and he was beating my husband up and dragging him on the floor, and took him over to where you get your head cut off, the guillotine to get your head cut off. And it scared me. It scared the mess out of me. It really did. I don't know. Maybe he got killed or maybe he didn't. I don't know. I had to leave before that happened. I don't know. It's been years since I've been there. It's been about almost 3 years since I've been in San Pedro. And I haven't heard from him. I haven't heard of him the whole time I was there. I didn't hear him. I think I was there for at least 5 years. In 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21. It's been 5 years since 2017. 2017 was when I married him. In 2017, maybe we didn't spend that much time together. I thought it was 11 years. I don't know where I got that from. Maybe somebody that had spells on me made me say that. And it was like 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay, so 2017, 18, 19. And 19 is when I was here, 2019, 2020, 2021. And it's been like 19 from 21. It's since, I moved in here about 2019. I think it's been 3 years already, almost 3 years at the end of this year. It'll be 3 years. At the end, when it turns to December of this year, it'll be 3 years I've been here. And so that means I've been with him for just 2 years. I was with him for 2 years, not for 11 years. I was with him for 2 years. And that's a very short time. But we had a nice time. We never argued or nothing. And he turned me, when I was with him, Jehovah turned me into a ball of flame of fire. The Bible says in Hebrews chapter 1, someplace in there, it says, let me see, Hebrews chapter 1, let me see, Hebrews chapter 1, verse, let's see, chapter 1. Hebrews chapter 1, verse Um, I'm trying to get this over here. Let's see. Hebrews chapter 1, verse 7, it says, also he says about the angels, he makes his angel spirits and his ministers a flame of fire. And so it was like we were his ministers because he had a light in his throat. My mother said, Desiree, what color was his light? I said, it was a white light. She says, he wasn't for Jehovah. It's supposed to be yellow. I never seen that in the Bible where it says nothing about that. Even though it was a flame of fire that was over the people that were in Corinthians that were speaking in tongues, that began to speak in tongues and were filled with Holy Spirit. But it didn't say I don't think it said anything about the color of it. Flame of fire? I don't know. Maybe it did. But I had that color in my throat. I think I showed my mother the color in the throat and she saw it. But she's still, she don't care. She's like Satan. That's what she actually reminds me of. Satan the devil. But she changes into a flame, a light, a ball of. She changes into an angel of light. She changes into light, like she's a sheep covering, and she's a wolf in sheep's covering. That's the way she is. She can be very, 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 very dangerous. My mother can't. And I'd like to tell it because if I don't tell it, then that wouldn't be loving. But then again, I'm not supposed to mention things like this. I don't know. I get confused. It makes me feel like Jehovah wants me to tell the authorities about things they do, gross sins, and I haven't been able to catch her, and it's like she's off on the run. And if I don't tell people, warn people about my mother, then they won't know, and she'll just be pulling them off, dropping them off like flies, and she used to do that. But anyway, that's all I have to say right now. Bye.